Also getting the read right now on all of this with a guy who's going to play an instrumental role. Senator John Kennedy serves on the Judicial Committee, among those who will be questioning the ultimate nominee. Senator, very good to have you.
Thanks for having me, Neil.
You know the four names, Senator. You know that each brings a little bit of baggage, I guess, with that, and that would happen whether they were perfect or not, right? I mean, this is such a crucial vote here that could swing the court to a clear conservative majority than just have a middle ground candidate. Mm-hmm. What do you expect?
Well, number one, I'm not completely convinced that the president is limiting his choice to these four.
Interesting.
The president can be unpredictable sometimes. Number two, I think it will be a partisan fight. I know that's not a news flash. I hope that we have an opportunity to question the nominee carefully. You know, Senator McConnell believes in less of a paper trail. That's his job. He's part of management. I'm not. Yeah. I kind of want a longer paper trail so I can read about the person and what he or she thinks and what his or her judicial philosophy is. I don't want I want a judge. I don't want an ideologue. I want somebody who has the courage of his convictions, but is willing to test his assumptions against the arguments of his critics. I don't, as I say, I don't want a hater. I want somebody who respects the Bill of Rights, and mostly, Neil, who understands the role of the judiciary. The Supreme Court is not a mini Congress. The Supreme Court's job is to decide cases and interpret the law. If you want to make law, go run for Congress or president. That doesn't mean that the Supreme Court doesn't make policy. It does, but it does within the confines of a statute or the United States Constitution.
You know, Senator, you talk about someone who has a long history or longer history of written judicial opinions, dissents, majority reads, and obviously by that definition, Brett Kavanaugh, all of 53 years old and his dozen-plus years on the bench would offer that. Not so much Amy Coney Barrett, who has been, you know, in this capacity here for a limited amount of time, only 8 months as a judge. But she has generated the most controversy, just her name out there, given her Notre Dame background, her pro-life positions. And I do remember when she was up for the appeals court position she holds now, she got a raking over at the time by Dianne Feinstein. I want to bring us back a little bit to this bit of history and how this could play out again if she were the president's choice for the Supreme Court. All right, I apologize for that. I thought we had it. But the bottom line was it was an aggressive give and take as to whether she was too captive to her faith, too much of a Catholic. Now, never mind that back when JFK was running for president, Democrats rallied around him in his Catholic faith and said that he wouldn't be at the beck and call of the Pope or a slave to his Catholicism. Very different now. What do you make of that and the heat she could face?
I think that what the Democratic opposition wants to do here is turn this nominee into a litmus test on Roe v. Wade. I think they're really one of the few cards they have to play. I think they were caught flat-footed with the decision of Justice Kennedy. I think they know we will confirm a Supreme Court justice. I feel very confident in saying that.
When you say we will confirm a Supreme Court justice, sir, does that mean you will get every Republican on board?
I don't know about that. I'd like to think that if we give everybody an opportunity to ask questions and feel comfortable, we certainly have the potential of doing that. But I can't guarantee you that every one of the Republicans will vote for the nominee. I do think, and I'm assuming that the nominee passes muster in the confirmation hearings. I take those hearings very seriously. Right. I've got some hard questions. I think we'll probably pick up some Democratic votes. But I think the only card, really, that the Democrats have to play here in this political process, unfortunately, is to try to turn this into a referendum on Roe v. Wade. And I think that's I think our Democratic friends understand that that's not really what this nomination's all about, but they don't have a choice.
You know, we talk about overturning Roe v. Wade, and is it your sense that that is so built into our culture and our country for the better part of 40 plus years now, that given Justice Roberts, the Chief Justice, and his reticence to break precedent, that is unlikely to happen no matter who is chosen to fill Anthony Kennedy's seat?
Neil, I don't know. I think it's an interesting question, but frankly, I don't mean this in a pejorative sense. It's just rank speculation.
You're right.
I mean, judges don't get together in conference and say, let's take a vote today on Roe v. Wade. They do it within the context of a case. And if a judge does his job correctly, there are going to be times that he or she renders a decision that he disagrees with personally. But he follows the law, he follows the statute, he follows the Constitution. Now, if you feel strongly that a political position should be advanced and you're on the court, you probably are in the wrong forum. You probably need to go run for Congress, because the role of the judiciary is very carefully subscribed in our Constitution vis-a-vis Congress and the president. Judges aren't supposed to be politicians. I'm not naive. I know it's a political process. But they're supposed to interpret the law. And that means having the courage of your conviction, but also being willing to test your assumptions against the arguments of your critics and do justice in a particular case.
Senator, very good seeing you again. Thank you very, very much.
Thanks, Neil.
Senator Kennedy.